checked with Grant. Maybe about 2 weeks. Well, Grant said he had it, but he hadn't paid it yet.
Okay.
And then I checked with him last Friday, and he said, "Oh yeah, I got the check now." So I wonder if in between he got sent nothing.
It could be,
So how?
they have someone else doing his accounting and they just, you know. And mostly for you, I wanted you to make sure it looked about right.
I think you should pick up one of those Dodge Challenger Hellcats. They're about 780 horsepower. That'd be just on your alley.
I see him on Bring a Trailer quite often.
Friend that wanted to get a 32 Ford Coupe.
Uh-huh.
Been looking for one for a long time, and all of a sudden he decided, "I don't want one of those." He said, "I'm going to get a Hellcat." I'm like, how do you go
From one to the other?
Yeah.
That's a long swing.
You're saying this.
You're going to kill yourself.
What did he buy, Tom?
Well, he's going to buy a Hellcat. Why? A cool car, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there's only one reason you buy a Hellcat, and that's to commit suicide. As far as I'm concerned.
So am I running this meeting?
Pardon me?
Am I running this meeting?
Yes, you are.
Okay. All right, it's 5 o'clock. We're gonna get it. Oh,
You don't just start it until I start,
oh, I thought I heard it's being recorded.
yeah, but that, I didn't start it with
Okay.
everything else.
That goes, then it all falls apart.
Well,
Don't tell him that.
yeah, he'll get a big head.
Okay, now.
All right, it's 5 o'clock. We're gonna get this kicked off. So we'll call the meeting to order. Our first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda and regular meeting minutes from 12/19/24 and any committee meetings. So do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Motion from Chuck,
And I'll second.
second from Tom. Any discussion? Nope. All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right, we have an agenda. So we're going on to the regular meeting minutes from 12/19. Those have been submitted, correct, Tom?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from 12/19.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion on those meeting minutes? No discussion. All right. All in favor of approval? Aye. Opposed? All right, those are approved.
And just an FYI, there was one committee meeting here the other day, but that is not the minutes. Thank you. There was one committee meeting the other day, but the minutes weren't accessible to us.
Okay,
So we'll approve those next month.
thank you, Tom. All right, we'll move on to item C, educational and information speaker, none scheduled. So we'll move on to D, recognition of visitors and visitor comments. We have Bob in the audience. Thank you for coming. Any comments? All right, no comments from our visitors. Commissioner communication. Item E, I'll start and say I registered for the Lakes event in Stevens Point. That's all I have. Anyone else? Nothing. Chuck?
I do
Tom's got comments.
want to make a suggestion that people visit the Lake District website so they can sign up for our monthly newsletter. I attended the Alliance of Dunn County meeting on Tuesday, the 14th, and detailed the activities of the Lake District. We are a member of the Alliance. So
Thank you for attending that.
Welcome.
Other communication from the commissioner? All right, excellent. Thank you. We'll move on to the treasurer's report. Our treasurer is not in attendance and has not submitted a report to us that I'm aware of. So we'll move on to G, discussion and action. Number 1, committee reports, meetings, membership recruitment and updates, boating and safety, sedimentation, aquatic vegetation, water quality, and communications and fundraising. So we'll start with if there's anything, committee reports from boating and safety.
All right. We met yesterday.
Oh, excellent.
So, let's see what we talked about. We kind of finalized our rules for, procedures for buoy removal and placement for vendors. Because even though Donkey Docks is doing that right now, should they go out of business or change hands or raise their prices a lot, we needed to have procedures. Bob did a great job putting that together. Took a couple meetings to go through that. We added 2 more committee members, so now we're up to 5 instead of just the 3 of us. So that's a plus. The currently the ordinance is scheduled to be repealed by the town of Tainter in their February meeting, because she wanted 30 days public meeting notice, and there were only 29 days before the January meeting, so it's going to be on the February calendar, at which time then the town of Menominee can repeal the ordinance. We're going to actually draft something, because their meeting is 2 days before Tainter's, to do what we did here, which is they can repeal it pending the repeal of the town of Tainter's ordinance. So that's the plan. Anything else we talked about, Bob, that I forgot about? We had a presentation from the fundraising committee that took too long in our committee, but he had some valid points. So he had some things to talk about. And then our next meeting is scheduled for February, before the Tainter meeting, so that we got everything kind of squared away.
Excellent. Thank you. Good work. Any updates from sedimentation?
There were no committee meetings
Okay.
on sedimentation, no.
Aquatic vegetation.
Yeah, I talked with the new chairman, Adam Mux, last week on the phone. I'm still on the committee too. And he's got the old committee back together, and the next meeting Monday, January 30th at 6 PM at Tainter Town Hall. And Adam has been working with Tyler Mesock from the DNR and is working on some plans.
Excellent.
At the Tainter Town Hall, you said?
Yes. It is Monday, January 30th, 6 PM at Tainter Town Hall.
Excellent. Water quality.
We had our last meeting last Monday at Tainter Town Hall. And Bob was there and Al was there, and we had a guest speaker, Tina Barone. She's the conservation planner for Dunn County Land and Water. And she's basically works with the farmer-led groups there, 2 of them in the county. And let's see. Some of the people volunteered to do a report on zebra mussels next week. I got one other committee member, Kevin McGrath, and Al are going to help me with grants. And Paul Colby is going to be our IT person. We talked about the carp bounty program updates there, and all the committee members know it's our baby in 2026, and hopefully we can get all of us to help out in 2025 too. Paul Colby did a report on duckweed. And our next meeting is Monday, February 24th at 5 PM at Tainter Town Hall.
That's awesome. Thanks, Chuck. We did get a email about a response to our first monthly publication. Someone actually noticed that we're going to stock muskies instead of walleye and northerns. And so we replied to him. I believe Tom said he replied to him, but I was impressed that someone had remembered from the annual meeting and then saw the new one and questioned that. So that was really good.
I think there might have been 2 or 3 people that had comments on our Tainter Lake .org website. So yeah, and then we collected 5 more signatures for Al's wife Gail to enter in our spreadsheet to get the newsletter. So
Okay.
yeah, it's working.
Excellent. Thank you. And thanks for meeting and all of you. Community connections and fundraising, we don't have anyone here from that committee, so we'll pass on that. 2, update on 2025 carp bounty program and fish stocking.
I can report on those. The carp bounty project, Al sent out an email to a gentleman that was recommended to us from our DNR fish biologist. And as of today, this gentleman had not responded yet. So hopefully we'll have plenty of information and a start on some planning at next month's meeting. The fish stocking did take a little bit of a turn based on our meeting with Casey Allally of the DNR. She is our fish biologist. It was her suggestion that we plant muskie. And so I have contacted a group called Muskie Incorporated. They are a nationwide group and they have a local chapter. I emailed the local chapter and I got a response within 2 hours. And they were pumped up.
Wow.
That someone is interested locally. Another lake is interested locally. And I told him our plans. He was excited. He offered their help in any way they can to move the project forward, which includes grant help. Maybe he was going to look for some money. He will take care of the permitting process for us because it's a little different than what we were instructed. Any body of water north of Highway 10 has to use specific, what would you call it, husbandry? There are specific husbandry requirements for the fish. So the fish farm that I had contacted previously outside of Madison, we cannot use. Their contact is in Minnesota and they are approved. And so at this time, we have enough money to stock 222 muskie for next year. He is looking for some extra help to get us some more fish. And he sent me an email with a couple of links for grant applications. And I was on it today. It doesn't look too difficult, so it's probably something I can handle. And I will be filling out that grant application to try to move it forward. There were a number of reasons why the DNR suggested that we go with muskie. One of the big reasons to avoid walleye was because we had a good population of walleye. They were healthy and they were growing. And she said, you don't want to mess with that. She said, if you plant walleye from outside the population. They come in and it's like they get lazy. They won't breed. So we're gonna leave that alone and go with muskie. We have good habitat for that. And it, we will be able to plant fish this fall late. They will be around 12 to 14 inches long. And they will take around 6 to 7 years before they reach a size where they are mature enough to catch, retain, I guess, at about 34 inches. So it was a good conversation I had with him. He returned my call within 2 hours of the time I emailed him. They have a fundraiser going on February 8th. I will try to share that, and I think I will stop over and probably buy some raffle tickets and, things like that. So
I'll go with you too, Tom.
sounds like it was a good meeting with him, good discussion with him. So that's my report.
Awesome. Thank you. That's really exciting. Very exciting. All right. So that covers item 2 under G. And move on to item 3, discussion of Stewart property and participation in the engineering study. Back to you, Tom.
And I can comment on it. What I'm asking is for commissioners to determine a board position, not tonight because it's not officially on the agenda. But what we want to do is develop a board position on the extent of our involvement in this project. With respects to areas like grant writing, volunteering, financial support, et cetera. At this point, we are only discussing the engineering costs of the project. This will be on the agenda next for voting on next month. And I want to remind you, once again, the project is out of the Lake District boundaries, which has always given me a reason to pause. Yet I understand that so many people on the north end of the lake are affected by the erosion and the subsequent sedimentation that is caused by this project, that I think it's worthy of our involvement. Next month, I have a meeting with the DNR, the NRCS, and Dunn County about the costs of the engineering for this project. And it will be before our monthly meeting. So I will know more and I can report that to you. So we can determine if and how much money we would like to be responsible for in this engineering study, if our help is needed.
So let me ask a clarifying question. So when we talk about a position, sorry, we're talking about a stance or our
Right.
belief in where we should do work that affects the lake. So
Correct.
like you said, this property is outside of our district. However, it is a major, in my belief, a major contributor to our lake as far as sedimentation and
Correct.
so we should maybe think about how far upstream this group would want to invest or take action.
That's a really good point, Jerry. I'm glad you mentioned that. There are 2 projects that definitely need work, and they provide a lot of negative effects on Upper Tainter. They are on this side of Colfax. The Stewart property is the first one that we are going to tackle. And then there's another property that sits adjacent to the wastewater treatment plant outside of Colfax. Those are the 2 that definitely need our help. There are 50 plus other sites up the river that are much smaller, and we can determine our involvement in those at a later date.
Excellent. But I think we ought to personally think about what that reach is, and I don't know if we can get some expert opinion on
Uh, uh,
how far sand travels down the river, but
right.
certainly chemicals too.
Al and I have just talked about it just off the cuff, and we both have an idea of how we would like to proceed.
Okay.
I don't know that I want to pollute your your thought process with what I have
Yeah.
until you guys have had a chance to think about it as well.
Right, I appreciate that. I think we all should think about it and be ready to discuss it and maybe take action at the next meeting.
Perfect.
Perfect, thank you. All right, moving on to item 4, if that's good. Update the plan of work, committee goals and work outline. So I looked at the plan of work and we are down to 6 meetings until the annual meeting. And I think that this is an excellent document and it shows an amazing amount of work getting done. And I think that most of the yellow items are covered as far as our status of the process, that the ordinance, thank you, Jim, and the donkey dog stuff. So I think we're in pretty good shape on the plan of work. It's just a great reminder to look through that Allison out. It's an 8-page document and as to what's all going on. So I think that's awesome that we're knocking through it. Any other discussion on the plan of work? All right. Next meeting of the Board of Commissioners, place and time. So I believe that is set for February 20th. Do we know if this room is open on February 20th?
I haven't gotten any notifications, so I'm assuming that it is.
All right. All right. So that's our next place and our proposed time. And future agenda items, we did talk about position creation as far as scope of reach of our work and our efforts. Any other agenda items that we can?
I'm thinking that Tyler Mesock from the Wisconsin DNR office in Eau Claire is coming here to be our guest speaker that night.
Excellent.
I have it on there, Chuck.
For
Good.
February 20th.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's a great guy. He's just all for us and he supports us and it'll be a great talk.
Yeah, speaking of forests, I'm really excited about the Muskie Inc. connection there. That's really good work. Thank you. It's nice to know, have someone
Yep.
that's done this before and just jumps in and says, yeah, we'll help you. All right, so we covered the February speaker, which was item H, which is Tom Mesock from the DNR in Eau Claire. And item I, I'm happy to say is adjourned. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.
We get to tell how we got this knocked out in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.